Hello, I'm Azai. Um, Sorry I've been MIA for, a month or two. Apologies for that. It was just, I got super burned out of Rand's Quest. And I think I can't even show you guys the last part that I was gonna say I was gonna do. So I think Rand's Quest is officially done right now. And it's not like I haven't been playing other visual novels on the side. I have. I played this game called Mamiya. It was pretty good. I was gonna make an LP of it, but it didn't have any voiceovers. And I was really in the mood to read it, but I don't know if I want to LP it because it's gonna take a lot longer for me to LP that story or that visual novel. That's just the nature of a walkthrough, I guess, or let's play. To me, it definitely feels like the time that you play it is going to be at least double or at least 1.5 the times that I would beat it if I wasn't making a video about it. But yeah, on that, I've been playing a couple of visual novels. That Sakura no Mori Dreamers, which is also good. I wish I actually LP that one. I'm about finishing one of the routes currently. And I'm really hoping that it's gonna end well because there seems to be a second game of it. But yeah, enough about what what I've been doing or what I've been playing the past few month or two. I've been doing good. There's actually been a lot of free time that I have since we're on semi-lockdown, so my work is cut in half, like we get home at 3 p.m. and the gym's closed, so I haven't been able to go to the gym. This is sort of like a mini update, I guess, the first 5 minutes. Sorry for my rant. But yeah, this game, I've been eyeing this for quite a while, and it's just out on Manga Gamer a couple of days ago. So I'm super excited. It's about a guy, a Chinese guy who works in Japan but doesn't really know the language that well. And I think this is post-World War II, or at least the 1980s or so. So really, really old Japan. So it should be interesting.
I still feel you close.
Damn, the artwork is really beautiful. Tell me if the volume is also too low or not. I might bump it up. It's been quite a while since I, LP a game. So without a doubt, the volume mixing is gonna be off again.
とても綺麗ね。これ積もるかな。振り返ればあっという間の月日だった。時間に追われ、日々の暮らしに追われ、常に何か流され続けたように思う。でもたまにはいいこともある。美しい夕焼けの中、こうやって降る雪を眺めるのも初めてではない。忘れられぬ一瞬が生涯に残ることもある。
The voice actor is very familiar.
もうパパ、ケーキまだかな。混んでるのよ、クリスマスだし。
This girl's voice is also familiar. Damn, I have to look up the voice actor for this game later on.
あ、猫いるよ、猫。え、猫？ほらそこ、黒猫。
This girl's very, very familiar. Oh, this is Rin, isn't it? This is Rin's voice actor from Little Busters. I don't know the moms, but this is definitely Rin.
これは私の物語である。ただし、もし私一人で気づいた物語であるなら、今とは大きく違ったものになっただろう。私の特技にシューマイ作りや 変なブレイクダンスを踊れることもなかっただろう。ここが原宿なんだ。
这一定不是我的错。
ジン。そっか、マイケルじゃなくてジンって言うんだ。ジン。はいはい、カンナちゃんのいいとこ見たいな。
你会说中文吗？
お姉ちゃん、お会計の人、早く。あ、はいはい、今お持ちしてます。
That's Amane's voice actor from Grisaya.
あなたこそ分かってるの？
你什么都不用管，照说的做就行了。
ごめん、重いよね。もう放っておいてよ。
像你说的，我努力过了。
少し練習してみたのよ。あまりうまく言えないかもだけど。
I forgot that they actually voice acted the Chinese guy in Chinese. That's something that I will probably enjoy considering I am Chinese, but I'm not really good at the language, so this is gonna be good for me, I guess. If I hadn't been so ignorant, he wouldn't have died. I had to escape from it, so I went to Japan. 1987 summer. There you go. Yeah, it is the 1980s. So definitely a lot further from World War II. This is before the bubble in Japan happened, the inflation, right? It was the last day of August. I can probably voice these lines. This game is fully voice acted, by the way, so I'm probably not going to be talking much. Let me see if I can find the options, though. Can't seem to find the options. I was in my first year of high school, and the summer holiday was drawing to a close. My classmates were all gloomy at the prospect of a new term and rushed to finish all their homework. Meanwhile, I was in the hospital. I had already been in the hospital for a month before I realized it.
今日から車椅子ではなく松葉杖らしい。
Yeah, this is Amane from Grisaya. It seemed to have nothing to do with me. Another summer holiday was ending, and I'd had no part of it. I was going to spend the rest of the summer holiday in the hospital as well. It was a far cry from the joy and dark tans that other years had offered me.
いえ、楽しかった夏の思い出は少ない。
To find one, I had to go back 4 whole years, when I'd still been in grade school. So she's about finish middle school. I don't know how it works in Japan about their grading system, but over here in Indonesia, we have 6 grade school years, 3 middle school years, and 3 high school years before we go to college. After that, my days were full of part-time work. The summer vacations in particular offered me the chance to work from dusk till dawn. I wasn't alone in this. My mother took on temporary jobs as well, and my father worked overtime, and even on his days off.
別に我が家は貧乏ではないと思う。
It's surprisingly, I don't know how common this is to have like both working families or to have both working parents, especially on older years. I know it's not uncommon now, but I think back in the 1980s, this was quite uncommon. Especially since this was the bumbling life of Japan, where they were really high in terms of, you know, just overall spending everywhere. Oh, sorry, I didn't voice that. We weren't poor. We were just living a simple life. We were trying to save money after all. All of us, together. I started to focus on part-time work during middle school as well. I never went out to have fun after school. It's pretty depressing, man. I didn't take part in any clubs either. I barely had time. I never gave chocolate to anyone on Valentine's Day.
だけど、それでもよかった。
I never managed to understand why things had to turn out the way they did. Sakurai Kana, Japan, 1987. I'm guessing that's her name.
ただいま。
Damn, the artwork in this... This feels like the artwork of a video game, not a visual novel.
お姉ちゃん、おかえりなさい。
Where do I get to the settings though? Or the options? I kinda want... Ah, there we go. I wanna see if I can... change something. Temporary lower music during voice playback, sure. I wanna make the text speed a bit fast. Yeah, transparent, auto mode. There's not many settings, huh? Audio, music. I'm gonna bump the music a tiny bit. I really want it to be quite loud. There you go. Don't interrupt. Okay, good.
エミ、お母さんは？まだ帰ってきてない。そう。じゃあすぐに晩ご飯の用意するわね。うん。お腹ペコペコ。私も手伝うよ。
My little sister gleamed at me. Her name is Emmy. We were 8 whole years apart. She was just 7 back then. Okay, now she's 11 then. She was upbeat, direct, innocent, and very caring. Wait, what? 8 years apart? She was just 7 back then. Back before the accident, right? So yeah, she should be... Oh, she should be 11, right? I think. I don't know. She still didn't know it was Dad in the Santa Claus costume. When we gathered seashells at low tide, she cried for the mollusks. Of course, she wasn't always a good girl. When we went to the shrine to get her blessed not long ago, she threw a tantrum because she didn't want to wear my handed-down kimono. On New Year's Eve, my father allowed her a sip of alcohol and she started singing loudly. I know that's not, you know, it's not a decent thing to do, offering someone that's small alcohol. But my parents used to do the same during New Year's. Not something crazy though, just like a beer. Yes, she was an overall 7-year-old girl, innocent and straightforward. And she also had a heart condition, as others might. At 7 years old.
あれ？お姉ちゃん、ご飯食べないの？
Man, the setting of this game is pretty depressing, huh?
うん。今日これからバイトあるから。そっか。お姉ちゃん、バイト大変だね。うん。これくらい平気よ。
I was doing it for her. But I couldn't tell her that. I just couldn't. I didn't want to either. She was too young to know. Surgery could treat her condition, so this was why everyone in their family are working. They need the money for her treatment then. But the bills were going to be enormous. We'd already been working for 3 years. We didn't have to save up money for that much longer.
誰か来たみたい。
What happened to her feet then?
カンナちゃん、迎えに来たよ。
はい、すぐ行きます。
He was a young man living in a neighborhood. I guess he was about 5 years my senior. His name was Sato. He'd come to pick me up for work.
最近、あのお兄さんよく来るね。うん、新しいバイト紹介してもらってるから。
From the VNDB page, by the way, this seems to be quite a short visual novel. It said about 2 to 10 hours worth of read. I'm still probably gonna make at least an hour video of this. But I'll try to end at least at a very good moment. I don't want to leave it at a cliffhanger. As usual, I really dislike that.
本当はデートだったりして。そんなのじゃないわよ。頑張ってね。
I waved at my sister's joke, then walked towards the entrance. It was already dark outside. We had gotten into the car. Sato was driving. I was in the passenger seat. There was a man I didn't know in the back. Were we headed towards the station? I've been told we didn't have to go far. We were living in the countryside. Everything important was next to the station. Sato had told me the wage was good, but I didn't actually know what I'd have to do yet. Maybe I was going to work at one of those new karaoke places. They were really taking off. You could sing in a private room and all. Apparently the wages were very good. I was still wearing my tracksuit. Perhaps I should have worn something else.
かなちゃん、夕食まだだよね。
はい。
じゃあ何か食べる？お腹減ってるでしょ。
いえ、大丈夫です。
I didn't have much money with me. Besides, work was only supposed to last until 10 p.m. I'd be able to go 3 hours without food. And in any case, less time spent at work meant less money.
かなちゃん、遠慮しなくていいよ。パパ、お金持ちだから。
He glanced over at the back seat. Whatever he called him, the man wasn't his father. Perhaps he was going to be my boss at work. He looked older than my own father. Man, if I didn't read like the synopsis of what the hell is going on in this story, I would have thought that she got sold off. But I'm gonna withhold my, my thoughts on that. His watch glimmered on his wrist.
じゃあ、後で揉めるのも嫌だから先に説明しておこうか。
はい。何でしょうか。
バイトは週に1回3時間。月に7万円。これで問題ない？
70,000 yen per month. I don't think that's actually a lot back in the day. I don't know though.
そんなに？
I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a lot or not back in the day. Maybe it is? I mean, it is from a part-timer and it's only 3 hours. Once a week, 3 hours each. That's pretty insane though. That's basically 12 hours a month. And you get 70,000. That is a lot. Going by how many hours she's working. But 70,000 yen a month, if you work like a full-time job, I don't think that's actually a lot. It was way more than I'd been hoping for. I tried converting it to an hourly wage, but the numbers were all wrong, and I couldn't do it immediately.
正確には10万なんだけどね。紹介料と足代として俺も毎月3万もらう形になってるから。
He reached into his pocket and handed me 7 bills. My hands were trembling. I'd never held so many 10,000 yen bills before.
それと食事代やホテル代もパパ持ちだから。
ホテル代？
そうそう。欲しいものがあれば直接パパにおねだりして。俺はアッシー係だし。
Sato laughed amicably. I looked over my shoulder at the back seat and the man there smiled as well. I said I was going to withhold my judgment, but I think it is going the direction where I think it's heading. It was then that I finally understood. This was compensated dating. You can just call it prostitution, damn it. Later on, we would start calling it that. At the time, it was just a line of work whispered of as being very profitable. A very structured kind of relationship.
お兄さん。
I decided to, albeit timidly, ask. Maybe I was misunderstanding something. Maybe they were mistaking me for someone else.
どうしたの？そんな怖い顔して。
これって、売春ですよね。
うん、そう。ぶっちゃけるとそうだね。
At least he wasn't mincing words. He was so relaxed about it. The misunderstanding I'd been so desperately hoping for did not materialize.
もしかして、カンナちゃん、分かってなかったの？だって、週1で月5万以上なんて他にないでしょ？
I didn't know what to say. Objectively speaking, that was very true. But it was also, I guess, his fault for, not really telling her what the job was. I knew some girls from my class that were gushing over this kind of thing as well. It hadn't seemed like that had anything to do with me. Like an altogether different world.
やっぱり、私辞めます。
今さら？それはないんじゃないかな。
ごめんなさい。勘違いしてました。
いや、でもさ、時給いいバイト紹介してって、カンナちゃんが言ってきたんでしょ？
That's why you don't judge a book by its cover, man. Sato looks like a typical normal guy. But he's a psycho. What the fuck?
でも、こういうのだって思ってなかったし。
大丈夫だって。俺だってカンナちゃんに変な人紹介しないって。このパパはこう見えて。
Sato kept on talking and talking. He offered to raise the compensation. He suggested that it would be a one-time thing and we could talk about it later. That's how they get you! The man in the back didn't seem angry or upset, worried about me if anything. But he also made no attempts to stop the car.
すみません。降りますから。
っておいおい、危ないよ、走行中なんだから。
いえ、もう結構ですから。
だから危ないって。
What the fuck? She actually got off? On the highway? While having a crutch and shit? Oh my god. July 13, Showa 62. I don't know what Showa 62 means. I don't know.
気づけば、病院のベッドで寝ていた。
Oh, this was before it happened. I see. Okay, that was a flashback. I was wondering, like, what the heck happened? I thought she went to the hospital and then she came back home. And then she started working again. With the crutch and stuff. But I guess she was okay and then she got that. Okay, that was the reason why she came to the hospital. Alright. My bad. Apparently Sato had lost control and rammed into a power pole. I was told later that he hadn't been going that fast. But my right leg was still seriously injured. It needed 27 stitches. The fracture was complicated. They brought me into the hospital at the beginning of the summer holidays, and I was finally being released.
ちょうどひと夏をここで過ごした。
I whispered, and started walking with those awkward crutches. I'd spent so long in a wheelchair that my legs felt weak. Man, she must have been super guilty. The fact that she was trying to make money and save money for her sister, and then the parents have to use the money for her instead now. Because it was more immediate, right? You can't postpone this, but you can postpone heart condition. Like it's not. I don't know. Like I don't know if you have to take the surgery right away, especially if you're that young. Even if you have the heart condition. If all went well, the doctor said I'd only need the crutches for half a year or so. Everyday life wasn't going to be a problem for me.
でも、一生走れないかもしれないと言われた。
It was hard to imagine for me. Not that I'd ever been running outside of PE classes. Oh, sorry. Qing Shaoran, China, 1987. Alright, time for a change in perspective. Am I supposed to press X? Oh, sorry, click my mouse? Yeah, I was. That was all I could say when I learned about the university entrance exam results. I'd failed. I wasn't surprised. I'd been expecting it on some level. I'd been top of my class when I was younger. But that was just how things had shaken out at the time. I'd been convinced I would enter a good university and become a respectable adult.
从前，这真是我的梦想。
Man, it's so awkward hearing Chinese in a Japanese game, but I do enjoy listening to Chinese, by the way. I used to watch a lot of Chinese movies back when I was still a kid. But I'd stopped believing in it even before I failed in the pursuit. I don't know when it happened. I didn't realize it at the time. And now, 2 years later, my life was different. Aina Michael, bonjour, what the heck? I wasn't reading reference books anymore. I didn't take mock exams.
哎，景校长，你磨磨唧唧干什么呢？
对不起，来了。
赶紧给我收拾去，顾客还等着呢。
是。
I rushed around in the tiny kitchen. We were approaching noon, the busiest time of the day.
哎，还有你，也别闲着。
This time Liu was giving someone else an earful. He was my senior at work. I didn't get along with him.
最近这些年轻人啊，一个个都这么不顶用。
I'm not, I don't want to say this, but I used to have a teacher, a Chinese teacher, that would always say the exact same thing, man. My Laosha always said that to me. Bro, I don't know, man. I think the older ages of Chinese people actually really dislike the younger ages. Nobody said it, but everyone agreed. Lunchtime was predictable. All he had to do was calculate what we would need and have us prepare for it with enough people and enough supplies.
你倒是好好想想。
景校长，你嘀咕什么呢？
没有，没什么。
I know that's a weird sentence, but he probably want to say that, you know, why aren't we actually using our brains to work? Because this is like a physical work. I denied my inadvertent whisper. Frankly, I couldn't take my job seriously. So why was I doing it? I was interested in business administration, of restaurants specifically. When I failed the university entrance exams, the government sent me to this restaurant instead. There weren't many ways to refuse. It was ironic, really. It was so close and yet so far. The government could really have tried to find a better place for me. I didn't actually like pushing pots around, and I didn't want to be a cook.
这种工作，辞了算了。
Oh, sorry. Well, that said, I didn't have the will to quit. I had to do something to live. And before I knew it, a year had passed. I got better at cooking as well, even though I never came to like it.
如果说人生有热量的话，
Mine had probably burned hottest until I was 8. Wow, that's... What? Stop it! That's so depressing. It can still burn brighter, you fool. By the time I was 18, there were only embers. And now only ashes. Man, these younger people... I mean, it's not like I can't understand this point of view. When I was younger, I definitely understand that... You know, not having motivation, doing something that you don't enjoy, it feels like it's crushing you. But you're the one that's limiting yourself. You can try doing things that you enjoy and stuff. Why had it come to this? When had it started? The university entrance exams had probably been the biggest crossroads. If I had worked harder, my life might have turned out differently. And yet, I didn't have much regret. After all, everything had happened before I knew it.
それでは桜井さん、お気をつけて。
August 31st, Showa 62. Why aren't...
はい。
Sorry.
長い間、お世話になりました。
Damn it, I'm so... weirded out by the fact that they use actual years and then they use Japanese calendar trying to describe the years after that. Is like Showa 62 1962? I doubt it, but maybe. If it is, that's like a 25-year gap. That's so much. It was the morning of my release. My mother was speaking to a nurse she had come to recognize. It was August 31st. Apparently, the hospital had been trying to prepare me for release from before the beginning of the new term.
かなちゃんも無理しないようにね。松葉杖、慣れるまで大変だから。
うん。
So she's at the hospital for half a year, not like 4 years. So when she go back home, her sister is still gonna be 7 years old. Or maybe 8. The morning summer sky was beautiful and blue. I walked with my mother in the already stifling heat. It was around 20 minutes on foot to our apartment.
かんな、足痛くない？
大丈夫。
急がなくていいから無理しないようにね。
My mother spoke to me reassuringly on the way. I had difficulty walking with the crutches. I would have to use them for another half a year. On the other hand, I'd be able to walk again half a year later. As for running and fast sports, that was going to be difficult. There wasn't anything in particular that I wanted to do. More important to me was the added difficulty of finding a job. A question formed in my mind. People seemed to be watching me with curious eyes. I didn't know them. They were just random people in the street to me. I could see old ladies talking quietly to each other. The rumors did not seem positive. At first I thought the sight of crutches might be unusual, or that they were mistaking me for someone else.
ねえ、お母さん。あれって。
Either Sato or the guy at the back probably died, and they're cursing her name right now.
気にしないで。
でも、なんか私のことを噂してるような。
それより早く家に帰りましょう。
あ、うん。
My mother started walking a little faster. I struggled to keep up with my awkward crutches. For the first time in weeks, I spent the night at home. The summer holidays had lasted for almost 2 months, and I'd spent all of them in the hospital.
お姉ちゃん、おかえり。もう足は大丈夫なの？うん。エミにも心配かけてごめんね。
Amy gave me an anxious look and I patted her head. She must have been lonely while I was in the hospital. My parents had found time after work to visit me there a lot, so my sister must have spent a lot of time alone at home.
でも、またお姉ちゃんと一緒だね。ええ。当分は晩ご飯も一緒よ。
For a while.
やった！お風呂も一緒に入ろうね。
Amy grinned at me and hopped around a little with excitement. I probably wasn't going to be working for a while with injured legs. I liked the idea of spending more time with her after school, but that couldn't last. Even if it meant having to leave her alone, we had to save more money.
じゃあどうするというの？
I could barely make out my mother's fairly loud voice. She'd been arguing with my father in the living room.
お母さんたち、喧嘩してるの？違うわよ。二人とも仲いいんだから。
Man, I wish... I know this is a common thing, but I really wish people don't lie to children. I know, like white lies to make them not... to make them innocent, right? But I feel like children nowadays are actually smarter than they are. Or maybe it's always been that way. Children have always been smart. It's just that people around them keep thinking that they're just children and can't really accept the truth and whatnot. I denied it immediately. They did get along well, but they were still fighting over something. I didn't know either and it scared me. But I had to be a good older sister and reassure her. At last, the sliding door opened and my mother entered.
エミ、ちょっとお父さんと遊んでてくれる？
What the hell? Okay. Probably to defuse the situation. At least that's smart of the mom. Emmy ran off towards the living room. I had practically no idea what this could be about. My mother clearly wanted to tell me something. Something that she didn't want my sister to know. My sister Emmy to know.
お母さん、もしかしてエミの病気悪くなってるの？
いいえ、むしろ最近は元気すぎるくらいよ。
そっか、よかった。
According to the doctors, my sister had to go into surgery before middle school if it was going to work. I'm actually gonna bump up the voices. Give me a sec. There we go. The earlier, the better. This is the reason we were all saving up money. She was 7 now. We still had 5 years. We only had 5 years.
今日はエミのことじゃなくあなたのことなのよ。
I'm guessing back in 1987, insurance wasn't a thing yet.
私？
この前の事故のことよ。
I heard that in Japan, like a lot of people in Japan actually have about 7 insurances from different, different companies and such. That's why I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that why some people decided to suicide sometimes when they're at the very edge of despair is for that, so that the insurance money can go to their family. At the very least, they make themselves useful. If that is the reason or the cause for someone that want to push themselves to suicide, that is actually very sad.
うん。
I looked at my legs. I'd already stopped thinking about it. My ignorance had led to some awkward moments, but regretting it wasn't going to get me anywhere. The crutches were unavoidable. Even if I wouldn't be able to run anymore, my everyday life was unaffected. But that wasn't what my mother wanted to talk about at all.
あの時車を運転してた佐藤さん亡くなったの。もう一人後ろに乗っていた人も亡くなったらしいわ。
I mean, if I'm gonna be playing devil's advocate, I'm gonna say that they deserved it. But as someone young as her, like finding out that she was the cause of 2 people's death, that would tremendously affect her mentally. Dead. Everyone else who'd been in the car was dead.
嘘。本当に？
本当よ。お父さんとお母さん、佐藤さんの葬儀にも行ったわ。
My mother's quiet voice seemed to drift towards me from far away. It seemed very unreal. Only a month and a bit had passed. I still remembered some of it. I'd been trying to open the door on the highway and was almost thrown from the car. My injuries would have been a lot worse if I had hit the pavement. I might have died. Sato had pulled me back into the car. And with me back inside the car, I couldn't remember. I told the police everything I remembered, of course. They hadn't given me any trouble. I'd always assumed that only I was injured in the crash.
言っておくけど、別にあなたのせいじゃないわ。警察の人もそう言ってたわ。
でも、あの時、私が。
あなたが気に病むことはないの。あれは事故よ。
I didn't know what to say. At least I didn't know what to say in that situation. Was it really accurate to describe it as an accident?
本当はあなたに教えたくなかったけど、ごめんね。
Why did you tell her then?
だけど、いつまでも隠し通せることじゃないからね。
Makes sense. Makes sense.
わかってる。
People were going to talk about it in our little town. Now I understood why people had been staring at me on the way home from the hospital.
カンナ、自分を責めるなとも、すぐに忘れろとも言わないわ。あれは少し運が悪かっただけ。
運が？
ええ、そう思うようにしなさい。
Monologue, what the? That night, I was looking at the night sky from my window. I wasn't brooding or anything, just watching the night sky. There were so many things to think about that I was thinking about none of them. I'd never been all that close to Sato. He lived nearby, and I'd met him now and then growing up. He bought me and my sister ice cream sometimes.
多分、私は悪くない。
I thought. I decided to believe that. Although we'd never been close, I was still shocked two people had died.
きっと、私には隠していたのだろう。
Nobody in the hospital had told me about what had happened. Probably there wasn't a single person in our little town who didn't know about it. To me, at the time, it did not feel real. I felt like I was watching a scene in a movie or television show. Words did not suffice for this facet of human experience. That's some big words that you're thinking there, Kana. A month passed. It was the beginning of October. I was feeling blue at the prospect of the approaching midterms. A Sunday. There was no school, so I was heading towards the area in front of the station. I have to walk slowly because of the crutches.
あなた、桜井環奈さんね。
Someone called out to me.
あ、はい。
It was a middle-aged woman I didn't know. She was glaring at me. I'd been hoping it was a case of mistaken identity. But it wasn't. If she knew my name and harbored such resentment, there had to be a reason.
私、佐藤と申します。佐藤はじめの母です。
佐藤さん。
I'd known her son. I never met her before, but here she was. What did she want of me? Well, I suppose I knew. Her glare was all I needed to know.
亡くなったことはご存知ですか？
はい。お母さんから聞きました。
そう。まあ、こんな狭い町じゃ隠しておけないものね。
Man, this is so uncomfortable, but it's too realistic, damn it.
あなた、運が良かったわね。
運が？
だって普通は、助手席が死ぬもんでしょ。運転席や後ろの人が死んだのに、あなた、死んでないじゃない。
I mean, can't really blame her since she probably doesn't know the situation. And she's probably just venting because her son died. Man, look at me here. Azai just analytically trying to analyze the hell is going on with my analytical mind. It The woman ignored the gazes of the passerby, and her accusations became steadily worse. I endured her searing rant. I didn't know what to say anyway.
すみません。
はあ？すみませんってどういう意味？あなた、謝るようなことしてたの？
Yeah, she is really looking for something to blame, huh?
いえ、そんなつもりじゃ。
だったら、うちの子はどうして死んだのよ。
それは。
むしろ、あんたが死んで詫びなさいよ。
Okay, now that's going too far. Telling that to a kid? Her abuse continued for some time. Nothing I said made any difference. All I did was face her rage.
多分、私は悪くない。
I think she said it was probably my fault. Or maybe it's the other way around. I repeated what I'd said before. I didn't think what Sato had done was deserving of death. If I hadn't been so ignorant, he wouldn't have died.
少し運が悪かっただけ。
My mother had told me to think that way. Sato's mother had told me something else. I didn't know which was true. Maybe it wasn't appropriate to brush something so important off as a matter of good or bad luck. Either way, it was a problem that I couldn't work part-time. I was worried about Emmy.
ねえ、お姉ちゃん。ああ、エミか。
Emmy barged into the room just as I was thinking about her. I've been too distracted by my worries to notice.
今日はどうするの？確か算数のお勉強だよね。そうだったね。
Most days I was teaching my sister Emmy. We had a different subject every day. My sister wasn't going to school. Normally, she would have been in second grade. The doctors had told us that, given her condition, she didn't have to go. Instead, we were teaching her at home, preparing her for a time where it would be possible to send her to school.
そういえば、あのお兄さん。この頃来なくなったね。そうね。
I gave a vague answer. Emmy wasn't being malicious. She was too young for that.
もしかしたら、東京に行ってるのかも。東京？なんかテレビで言ってたよ。東京がすごいって。
I'd heard that too. Several classmates had bragged about going there.
きっとお兄さんも東京に行ってるんだよ。そうかもしれないわね。
Tokyo was incredible. A lot of rumors were floating into our little countryside town. The bubble economy. That's what it would later be called. There wasn't a name for it at the time. There was just a feeling that economic conditions were excellent and a lot of money could be made quickly. For me, who had hit a dead end, it was enough of a reason.
桜井さん、本当に退学をされるのですね。
Aigaku? I think that's sports, right? Or is that like body condition? Winter Showa 62. After a long fall season, we had reached the calendar's final page. My preparations were done. I was ready to move.
はい。申し訳ありません。
それで、これからどうするのですか？
一応、予定はあります。
I wasn't going to find work in our town. Convincing my parents hadn't been easy. But we needed more money for Emmy. It was going to take too long if I waited until graduation. We had to get her into surgery as quickly as possible so she could go to school. That was only part of it though. I think I also wanted to get away from our town. It's probably the biggest reason. Come on, let's be truthful.
我是景校长，我要跟你讲多少次你才明白啊？啊？
Don't ask me what that is. I also don't know. Sorry. My Chinese is bad, man. I can somewhat understand what people are saying sometimes, but not a lot. China, 1987. I do know what Ming
对不起。
Pai is, though.
我重做。
I was working in the kitchen and getting yelled at. It was business as usual, essentially. It was around this time I heard it from my colleagues. The customers were talking about it too. Japan was doing really well, apparently. It was all rather abstract, but there seemed to be a great economic boom. I heard about people who had gone there and made enough money in just 1 year to buy a house. Ooh.
要不然我也去试试。
I whispered. I was quite sure yet how sincerely I meant that. What? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that sentence is. That sentence correct? I don't know. That seems wrong to me, but maybe it's not. I didn't really have a goal anyway. The fire in my life had not reignited. I wanted to try my hand at the university entrance exams again. A year abroad couldn't hurt. If that had been the point where I had failed, I wanted to try again. After all, it hadn't been my fault. Are you sure about that? I wasn't happy with the way my life was going. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I had to escape from it. So I went to Japan. Without knowing the language, my goodness. Okay, that's chapter 1. We're not at an hour mark yet, even with the 5 minute of me just rambling. I'll probably continue for another 10 minutes and then I think we're gonna call it an episode. Art labor or the illegal kind. If you get caught, they'll send you back for sure. It was the last full year of the Showa era. Okay, it looks like it's not monochrome anymore, or whatever this filter they use on that chapter. Sepia? I don't know. Looks like everything is in color now. December, Showa 62. That was the first thing I said when leaving the station. Crowds had gathered in front of the massive buildings. The Christmas season had drawn even more people out, it seemed. She's still using her crutches, damn. I can't believe she's still thinking about, you know, going out with those crutches. I thought she would wait until she recovered first. I didn't pick Harajuku for any particular reason. I didn't have relatives or acquaintances living there either. It was just a station where I had gotten off.
本当にマジマジポケベル来たし
Pager? Oh my god, this is so old.
やだ竹下通りじゃん早く行こう
Girl passed by excitedly in front of me. What was a pager? Every single girl my age that I could see was wearing cute clothes.
私のようなジャージ姿は誰もいないね
Takeshita Street was probably chock full of even more flashy people. My crutches were totally out of place. The city was overwhelming for me, in part out of shame.
いえそれよりも私の目的は仕事なんだ
I hadn't come to have fun or to go sightseeing. I went into the first phone booth I could see. I pulled out the job at magazine I'd bought at Tokyo Station and my unused cell phone card. I intended to call every single place that sounded promising.
すごい時給1300円って
Is that a lot? I don't know. I don't really call someone, you know, nowadays who uses who uses money to call people, you know? Use the internet. In our backwater town, I'd never seen a job offering more than 600. The first page already offered more than I'd ever been expecting.
だけど時給だけで選んじゃダメだ。
My ideal job also offered me a roof over my head. I'd heard Tokyo was expensive too. Even a well-paying job might only pay enough to cover rent and expenses.
ここにしてみよう。
I picked one from the massive offers. It didn't specify a required age and said that the job was simple. Nervously, I dialed the number. Come to think of it, my only real experience was working in a bakery nearby my house. I see that typo.
はい、白石工務店人事部でございます。
What? They have HR back in 1987? How advanced are these people? Indonesia is super falling down, man. HR didn't start really getting hype until like what, 2010 plus. Like, you know, having an HR branch of a certain company. Jesus.
私求人広告を見て。
ああ、はい。求人への応募ですね。面接の準備はできておられるでしょうか。
はい、一応。
I prepared my CV before leaving. 4 pages with my picture pinned to it.
それでは本日の面接は11時からとなっておりますので、会場までよろしくお願いします。
11時。はい、大丈夫です。
I looked at the clock. It was 10:30. Then I looked at the map inside the magazine. It seemed to be a 3-minute walk.
それではお待ちしております。私、求人受付担当の霧島と申します。失礼ですが、
はい。
私、霧島と申します。失礼ですが、
失礼ですが。
Ah, she's probably... It's not like NIM. She's like saying very politely, like she's not asking who her name is, but it's like I think it's a Tokyo thing.
お名前をお聞きしてもよろしいでしょうか。
はい。カンナ。桜井カンナと言います。
It has something to do with mannerisms, and probably because she's from the countryside, she didn't pick that up.
では桜井様、お待ちしております。
緊張した。
I hung up and sighed. I wasn't used to telephone calls and struggled to understand what they wanted of me. More than anything, I just wasn't an extroverted person. I didn't know what their job was even going to be. Would my tracksuit be alright?
それより急がないと。もう15分前だ。
I left the booth in a hurry and started walking to where the interview was supposed to be. About 5 hours later, the winter days were short and the sun was setting. I stood in front of the station, beset with doubt. I think that's how you say the word?
まだバイト先が決まらない。
I had landed a lot of interviews, but all the companies had turned me down, though some refused to meet me at all. Probably from the
や
attire.
っぱりこの格好ではダメだったのだろうか。
I looked at the tracksuit I was wearing. At some companies, I'd seen only people in suits going to their interviews. Then again, my tracksuits had seemed acceptable in other places, but those jobs had all required some customer contact. It wasn't likely they would hire someone for that who was as awkward and distant as I was. I'd been hoping I would be hired anyway since they needed people so badly, but it wasn't going as well as I thought. Nobody had hired me and I was starting to feel nervous. Having to stay at a hotel would be a needless waste of money. Man, a hotel is probably expensive. The last company I tried was a real estate company near the station. They'd been advertising another simple job.
ここはできるだけ頑張ってみよう。
I whispered and hit the crutches near the entrance. I learned to do this after the first few disappointments. Why? That's so weird. They don't want to see you. Like, what? It's so weird. Is it bad manners to go inside of a job interview with crutches? I mean, if you're sick or if you're injured, why would that matter?
いらっしゃいませ。かわいいお嬢さんね。何かご用かしら。これを。
Oh, sorry.
ああ、バイト募集のね。まだやってるわよ。
I offered her my CV, but
ああ、別にいらないわ。うちは細かいこと気にしないから。
she opened some kind of ledger and began to explain things to me. None of the companies I had gone to until then had been so welcoming.
これが帳簿。で、こっちがパソコンよ。パソコン？おう、まだパソコンは使ったことない？はい。
I've never even seen one in person before. Just on TV sometimes.
ま、パソコンは別にいいわよ。簿記はどれくらいやったことあるの？全然。あら、全くの未経験ってこと？それはちょっと悩んじゃうわね。今から覚えるからダメでしょうか？私、仕事を探しているんです。
In the past, this had been the point where everything had collapsed. I hung my head. The woman seemed to ponder something.
やっぱダメね。そうですか。でも、他の仕事でよければ紹介してあげるわよ。お願いします。ぜひとも。じゃあ、とりあえずあなた、何歳？16歳です。若いわね。その感じだと、営業とかも無理そうね。ね、
Oh, sorry about that.
あなた可愛いし、コンパニオンのバイトなんてどう？コンパニオン？ぶっちゃけ、水商売みたいなものよ。ホステスさんよ。
Damn it! Why do people always do this? She's 16, damn you! Then again, I think 16 is actually legal in Japan. That's still fucked up though.
そういうのは、ちょっと。じゃあ、ディスコは？客寄せに踊ってるだけのバイトもあるわよ。いえ、そういうのも。
What even was a disco? I'd only ever danced at folk festivals and gatherings. And anyway, I was shy and awkward. I wasn't going to do a job like that well.
それじゃあ、どこも無理じゃないかな。そうですか。って、そうそう。あそこだったらあなたでも大丈夫よ。
She pulled out a different ledger. Then she began to explain. Apparently, a building nearby was scheduled for demolition. I was just supposed to live there for a year. I'd be getting 400 yen per hour, which was low. But since I'd essentially be working 24/7, the daily wage was actually pretty good.
住むだけで本当にお金もらえるんですか？
That sounds like a dream job, what the hell?
まあね。もしかして何か危ない仕事なんじゃ。大丈夫よ。そういうのもあるけど、ここは安心して。
I still didn't understand the necessity, but I knew I'd have a place to sleep. I'd also get paid, which was what I wanted most. I'd spent the entire day looking for a job, and it really hadn't been as easy as I expected. And this job also seemed doable.
やりたいです。ぜひ。いいわよ。あなたは真面目そうだし、お願いするわ。はい、ありがとうございます。お名前は、桜井環奈。桜井さん？環奈ちゃん？桜井でいいです。それじゃあ桜井さん、よろしく頼むわね。
She took my CV, put some kind of stamp on it, and filed it away. I'd been hired. I was relieved. If she sent me out as well, I'd have been in trouble.
まあ私としてもこのバイトは変な人に任せたくなかったし。
That's not what the translation was saying. She said hen, which is like, I was looking for a weird person that would accept this job. Yeah, nice job, translation team. That's not what she said.
ちなみにあなた、猫は大丈夫？猫？あ、はい。好きですけど。それじゃ決まりね。早速お願いするわ。
Are you going to...
这就是东京
Sorry.
啊！
December 8, 1987. I was gonna say, are we going to switch perspective now? I'm probably gonna cut the episode here, though. There we go, after I say this line. After spending 3 days on a shaking container ship, I was finally in Japan. I'm gonna cut the episode right here. So far, it's been very enjoyable. I like both of their stories. I think both stories are quite relatable, especially during those times. You know, like the ages of what they're thinking, their emotions, the things that they're feeling is very, very relatable. Not just the people who experience the same thing, of course, but it can probably put into perspective, like people that never felt this way. Like it's easy to put yourself into their shoes, basically, right? They make it quite down to earth. But yeah, I'm going to take a short break. The episode is probably going to be done though. I'm going to eat some dinner and I will record one more episode. Nice thing is about not playing a hentai game is that I don't have to edit the video. So this is just going to, boom, be straight up uploaded on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry I've been MIA for so long. I hope I can make a consistent schedule again. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays as usual. But I'll see you next time. See ya.